Hey guys, it's Saturday, January 24th, and I promised to do this dating podcast yesterday. Sometimes I'll post my topic so that I am forced to be accountable. If you ever struggle with accountability, sometimes that's just a really cool thing to do is sort of like tell people. And so told over, I guess, 50,000 people that I would do this. So that really forces my hand when it comes to being accountable. So I wanted to get it done. I actually wrote this out. When did I write this out? I wrote this out a couple months ago, and I guess because I've been sharing a couple more, date night photos on my Instagram, I've gotten lots of questions to my Ask FM. Some of them a little too personal. Some of them I understand why you're asking me some of these questions, and so I decided to go ahead and do this today. I am off to a little bit of a late start, so I am having my coffee. So if I take a few pauses, forgive me in advance. But this one is dating. I'm so busy. When, what, where, how. Um, I've got 5 points, and I probably will add some more things to this. So keep in mind, I wrote these notes out a while ago. So I don't know where my head's going to be on this, but I don't know how many of you have struggled or are currently struggling with dating. If you're in your 20s, which I know a lot of my girls are in their 20s or 30s or even older, I am no different than anyone else when it comes to, everyone telling us what we should be doing, the Steve Harveys of the world. And I like Steve Harvey. I think he's dope, but it's like this think like a man business and so many men telling us what we should be doing. And so I want to say that like this is all I am not an expert, okay? So this is definitely not a Myleik's an expert dating podcast. This is a I'm sharing what I know and I'm sharing what I think may work for some people, which is a lot different than, let me tell you why you're wrong and you should be cooking and cleaning and all the other nonsense that I just don't agree with or believe in. Alrighty, number one is that I think I take it upon myself to reach out to some what I call mommy mentors or to create some mommy mentors. So there are some women in this space that I work in that I truly admire because they are married, they appear to be happily married, they have children, and they seem to be, passionate about their work and seem to have been passionate about their work for a long time. And I imagine that I will probably always be passionate about my work. So two mommy mentors are two women that I, have taken it upon myself to try to establish some kind of, relationship with or just to be able to ask questions. One has been Lisa Price of Carol's Daughter, who I feel like she just is getting it right 100 times over. And then Mahisha Dellinger of Curls, who I've had dinner with a bunch of times and ask a lot of questions about dating and being married and being a mom and handling their careers, and they're always very like open and honest with me and kind of just reassure me that you're never gonna really have it all together or think you're gonna have it all together. It's just like much like everything else, it's a day to day thing and how like the family sort of balance out their lives. And I've never gotten the feeling that they felt like one was better than the other. Like if you have this family, it's better than not. It's just more or less like if you make the choice to have a family, this is what it is possible. It is doable. You don't have to choose. You don't have to pick career over a family or anything like that. So that's always good to know. So if you are you really are a hustler and you really are about your business and you're really trying to figure out what the balance is, I would say to seek people or women who are managing to balance like love, life, and career. And so that's why whenever people are reaching out to me about mentors, I'm always just like, you are going to need like a bouquet of mentors. Like you're going to need someone that you look for your business stuff for, someone who's just like I have someone who really can just get me out of my own way very quickly. You need those kind of people. I have someone that I can go to that will always have the hard conversation, like not interested in what I want to hear, but it's always going to give it to me, give me the real. And so I think it's also good to just have some women that you may want to pattern your life after. Not like, oh, I want to copy this person a pound for pound, but like I like this pattern. I would love to be able to like vacation with family or have a husband or maybe not even have kids, whatever it is you want to do. If you see somebody's life going in a direction that you like, kind of just, get into their mindset, how they make it work and that whole bit. Number two, which is my favorite one, is I want you to get healthy. And so I was thinking about this after I posted it on Instagram, and I was thinking about my getting healthy, and I was just like, imagine you were preparing for a marathon, right? You're going to run however many miles and you've done nothing. Imagine running a marathon with no preparation. Like you haven't started to do any practices, warm ups, test runs, diet. Like I feel like relationships, and if you want long relationships are similar to long marathons, and many of us are getting into these relationships unprepared and unhealthy. And so health for me, the way that I took some time to get healthy, as I've shared with you guys ad nauseum, that I go to a therapist. And one of the main reasons why I was going to therapy, I still go, I go for a host of reasons, but one of the main reasons is that I felt like I kept dating the same person, and I was just like, there's got to be some science to this. There's got to be some reason why I'm doing this. And why do I feel like this one particular kind of guy is always attracted to me? Like, I felt like this guy was picking me. And after I would say maybe 7 or 8 months in therapy, it might have even been a year, I started to learn that um, I was purposely seeking out men that were like my dad. And my dad's cool, but my parents' relationship just wasn't that great. And what I was trying to do is not that it wasn't that great, it wasn't good. And what I was trying to do was to pick men that were similar to my dad or what I thought he was doing and then change them. So what I learned over time through with a professional is that there's a formal thing that you call it, and it's called repetition compulsion. And so have you ever sat with your girlfriends and been like, oh my god, it's like, I can't, why do I keep picking the same guy, or why does the same, or married guys are always attracted to me? Like I've heard so many girls say that, or this kind of guy is always attracted to me. That is not the case. A lot of times you are purposely seeking this person in an attempt to change a story in your life. And when I tell you that the unconscious and subconscious mind is so strong, and you don't even know the kinds of things that you're doing, it is so important. I knew at the rate that I was going that it would be impossible for me to have anything close to a decent relationship until I did some work and got healthy. I have communication on here, which I think is something that I struggle with a lot, and I know a lot of girlfriends do. I've sat with my girlfriends over champagne talking about the way this guy's treating her, and she's not going to say anything this time. And I'm like, you know what? Not saying anything in an effort to appear like you don't care or whatever is just really silly. Or waiting until it gets way out of control and then now you're going off and looking crazy, because that's the whole thing is men love to call us crazy. Not realizing that they've driven us to this point. But I think that a way that you can cut out a lot of these crazy moments is to just be upfront and honest as often as you possibly can. And I currently do that. And it's like whenever I'm not feeling something, I'm like, okay, I just want to say this. And I have found that like taking a break and saying, okay, I feel like when you don't do this, or when you say that, it makes me feel like, you are blah, 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 whatever. And I find that when I say it, as soon as I feel it, it is not as harsh, or it's a little softer and genuine and authentic and easier and more digestible versus letting it build up. So you always want to get healthy learning how to communicate, right? um, and then after you do all of that, the whole healthy thing is like making healthy choices, right? It's like going to a restaurant and the cheesy, buttery, salty, sugary, whatever, deep fried looks oh so good. same thing goes for the kind of guy that you're attracted to that you know is no good for you. Looks so good, but does nothing for your body, right? Does nothing for your spirit, nothing for your soul, and you just start making healthier choices, which may not look like you thought they were, right? So, a lot of times, our healthy choice may not look like the person that we thought we would be with or the person that we imagine ourselves being with, which is going to take me to number three, which is where I talk about you want to make sure you widen your dating pool, right? So, I mean, I don't have to, statistics show, and you know this, that women of color, African American women, um, are of all women, I don't know how to say this correctly, but will date out of their race the least. Like that's a statistic. That's a fact. If it's wrong, you always know. Ask FM me, tweet me, give me the truth. But I've done some research, and if things have changed, I'd love to know. But African American women, based on the research that I've done, are of all women date out of their race the least. Um, so we tend to be more loyal, where the same thing cannot be said for African American men. Um, and I'm not like, I really don't want to get into a debate about who should be doing what and why someone's not doing this and that. I really try to stay pretty level-headed and just say, okay, if I know this, right? If I know this and I may feel this way, um, numbers are numbers, and I'm just by being a smart businesswoman, if I really want to have the kind of life that I say I want, I am going to have to open myself up to a myriad of different things. One might be age. I may need to skate. I may need to consider younger men. I may need to consider an older man, a little bit older, a lot older, whatever. It's like, I think that every woman has to kind of find her fit. There are some women. I have a really good girlfriend who, she's a little bit older than me, and she consistently dates men. I don't even think she dates a man older than like 27. Okay, I'm 35. So it's like she consistently dates like 25, 27. She doesn't date anybody over 30, and she's over 35. That's her thing. That's what typically works for her. Um, and I have some other girlfriends that, they tend to scale up a bit. They like to date a little bit older. I like to date a little bit older. I've always been like kind of old, like, mature. Like I have a very sort of mature spirit. Things that I like to do are a little bit more on the older set, like things that I enjoy. So, I mean, but I've dated younger too. But, I just think that you got to like that, that door a little bit more. Another thing is open it up to other ethnicities and races. It's like, I have dated, someone wrote me the other day on my Ask FM, would I ever date a black man? And I really kind of chuckled, because I'm thinking like a lot of people who are just getting to know me at 35 years old are making the assumption that I've never dated a black man before, not really knowing that I have dated probably more black men than they know. Like, I've dated a lot of black men. And even though I may not share all of my dating experiences socially, because I'm just not a huge fan of it, I pretty much, I mean, I've been single for periods of time, but even in being single, I'm pretty much always doing something with somebody or hanging out with, grabbing a drink. I've always allowed myself to be open to date or open to experience. And so when I say open to date, I always crack up if I say date night and people are like, oh, you found love. Love is a wonderful thing. And I'm just like, I love dating at a snail's pace, okay? Like, I really like taking my time and getting to know people. And I enjoy courtship. I enjoy getting together, grabbing dinner, getting together and doing things. And so just because you're dating someone doesn't mean that like you're getting ready to traipse down the aisle or that you're madly in love. And I think that that was something that I had to learn. I talked to my therapist about. I'm like, I would go out with guys, and after I had gotten healthy, I started, go out with guys, and I'm like, after a couple of days, I'm like, I'm not in love. And she's like, okay, that's okay. Like, everything is not like 50 Shades of Grey. And even, let me tell you something. I love 50 Shades of Grey, and I already got my tickets to see the movie. So if you're going to see 50 Shades of Grey movie, please tweet me. Like, we can have a Twitter party about this. Like, I really want to talk about that movie because I love the books. But she's like, that kind of relationship is not real, Myleik. That's why, it is doing so well. It's fiction. And I'm like, well, I would like to feel that. And so she just shakes her head. And so that has been a part of me getting healthy and growing up, is realizing that this whole, like, that super lusty, hot feeling that you may get may not be the case on the first couple dates, or the first whole bunch. And sometimes things take time. And so I've just given myself permission to take my time and to continue to go out with people, even though I'm like, oh, I don't feel something, or maybe I'm not madly in love or whatever. Giving myself time to do that. So for people who have wondered, have I ever dated a black man? Yes, I've dated tons of black men. I will continue to date people who pursue me, that are attractive and that are nice and all that good stuff. And I don't care what you say or how you feel. Cute is cute. If somebody's fine, you fine. And if a fine man is inviting me out to do really nice things, please understand that I will be going. Okay, so I'm always open to that. And so, like, and this is something that I'm gonna share, and maybe this will help in for whatever your thoughts may be in the future with anyone else. Like, after I got really, like, busy with my business and I started traveling all the time, and I just started doing a whole bunch of, like, work stuff. I would say that, like, 80% of my life was just work, right? And then I would take, like, vacations. And for like 2 years, for the last, like, maybe 2.5 years, I would go places and I would never even see, like, a black man. You feel me? Like, I would be at, like, a resort on a Tuesday in, like, Mexico, and, like, I would never see rarely a black woman or a black man. And so you think, okay, I'm on vacation for 3 days and I may meet somebody at the pool. That person's not black. And I'm just like, okay, this is okay. Like, I'll have a conversation, and then maybe I'll fly somewhere and some guy will sit next to me and he happens to not be black, right? So it just, what happens is that over time, because I kind of, like, shied away from my personal life and was just doing all kinds of, like, professional stuff, I noticed that, like, my environment changed. Like, all of a sudden it was just, like, more of one thing than another. And I got really concerned about that. I talked to my therapist about it because I was just like, look, I feel like there's only one kind of man pursuing me right now. And, like, what's up with that? And, like, is it my environment? Is it me? Like, am I selling out? Like, WTF? And I just was like, all right, I'm not going to, like, beat myself up about it. I'm not going to allow other people to beat me up about it. I'm going to just be open. And, if this is how my life is, like, where I'm at this period of time, like, I've been in different circles. And if I find this person attractive, and I've dated some really cute guys, then I'm just going to date them and see what's up, and not, like, put too much pressure on, are they this, are they that, are they tall, are they short? Like, if you're cool and if you're nice and if you are a healthy choice, then I'm going to give you a chance. And so all the guys that I'm dating, or the guys that I date today, are healthy choices. Number 4 is relax. We get so anxious and uptight about this, and I've just learned to just relax and not feel any pressure. And even when I, was doing some online dating or just dating and meeting people, I was not, when I tell you that I had absolutely no anxiety on the first date, it's like, I don't even, because it's not that serious. It's like, I want to have some balance in my life, and I would like to meet a nice person, but not so much so that I'm desperate. Take the statistics out of your mind. Everybody wants to tell you you're not going to find anybody. Most black women don't get married. Blah, blah, blah. That's all crap. Like, you are you, and you are divine. You are perfect. You are different, and you will do things on your own time. What they're not telling you is that more black women have more opportunities than we've ever had before. And so guess what we're doing more than getting married? We're chasing these opportunities. So don't, there's always a few sides to a story. So kill the statistics. They always talk about, okay, the unemployment rate's 10%. Guess what that means? 90% of people are employed, right? Don't focus on the negative, focus on the positive. You got this. Have fun. And let me see what this says. Isn't Oh, and that sometimes you're just dating people for a purpose, not necessarily till the end. Maybe someone that can you learn to communicate better with, or someone that you get better body acceptance with, or everybody has their purpose, you know. Somebody that teaches you a couple of grown up things that you may need to learn, right? It's just that's okay, and so just relax and have fun, and everything doesn't need, you know. Don't be so focused on is this my husband or is this the end or is this the one. It's just like am I the one? Meaning, are you the one? Are you always working on being the best you? And if that's the case, then you're good. Number 5, this is the thing that I really want to like stress because I feel like not enough people talk about this. You have to make time for this, girls, okay? You have to make time. Um, the chances, especially with the rate of like where we are with cell phones and how fast the world is moving. You know, think about all the times you're walking through places with your head down on the phone or you're talking on the phone. You got their earbuds in, you're talking. Remember back in the day, like somebody could pull up in the car and try to talk to you. Now, between the phone going and the Spotify going in the car, you got the music and the podcast playing. Some guy you can't even get your attention, and so it has gotten so much harder to get other people's attention. So make time for dating. I say plan it. You know, so one thing that I did, I took a break from dating because I needed one. Trust me when I tell you, I needed one. So I took a break from dating for like maybe I would say a year. Um, and so for all of you who follow me on Instagram, all that awesome travel that I was doing, that was just me taking my break. Like, you know what? I want to break. I want to break from the stress and the drama, and I want to just take some time to focus on me and try to get this right, get healthy. I was like doing my trying to figure out a way to fall in love with my life so much that if somebody came into it, they really were the whipped cream and the cherry on top, you know, versus being the whole Sunday. Like, you know, I wanted to make my life be the whole Sunday and some whipped cream and cherries as needed. And I got to that point. And so that's what's made dating so much easier and nicer for me is that I am content. I am happy to live my life like as is. And it took me some time to get there. And so I took the time. But when I got ready to start back up, I said, okay, I planned it. I am going to commit to dating for 90 days. What does that mean? I'm going to get on the dating site. I'm going to get on Tinder. I'm going to get on this thing. And I am going to do it for 90 days. I don't care if I have 10 bad dates out the gate. I don't care if some guy's sending me naked pics. You know, I'm going to delete it. I'm going to keep it moving because I'm committed to doing this. So set a time that you're going to stay on the site or you're going to stay committed to going out, you know, like you got to do it. And I picked like late summer because that's just an easier time for me. August, September is better for me. Another thing that I did is that I was like, I'm going to make dates for 2 nights a week. So when I was, you know, meeting bunches of guys, I would be like, okay, I will set aside 2 evenings. Just like I do my 3 mornings a week for exercise, I'm going to do my 2 nights a week dating exercise. And so think about that. Like, you've got to get serious about this and you've got to get it on your calendar and you've got to follow up. And you've got to make sure that you're getting out there and you're doing this because it's not going to work if you don't take this serious. Like, the chances of your knight in shining armor rolling up on a horse to your door are slim to none. You know what I mean? And it's, you know, everybody says you shouldn't worry about it. It's just going to happen. Like, okay, tell me how that's working for you, right? Um, and the other thing is, I always say, be honest about who and what you are. Like, if you are dating, if you want to tell someone that you are looking to date seriously for you're looking for a long-term commitment and eventually marriage, say that up front. Because what that's going to do is filter out all the people that are not. If you are really just looking for a good time and you're like, you know what, I really don't know where I want to go with this, but as of now, I'm open to have a good time, say that. Like, you don't have to. One thing I can't stand is for women to pretend like they don't want something because they're afraid that the guy's going to take them this and that. Be who you are. Say what you want. Declare it early because that's going to be the best way to filter out who you don't need, okay? There's no need you in trying to change somebody's mind or get them to change based on how good you cook and all this auditioning you're trying to do. Don't do it. And finally, just be yourself. Like, I think that so often we don't think we're good enough as is. You are good enough as you are. Does that mean you can't grow and learn and change and get better over time? Not at all, because that's what we should all be doing, whether we're in or out of a relationship. And so be who you are, do what you like, continue to make time for yourself. And I hope that this worked. Remember, like I said a couple of podcasts ago, I always say when it comes to my podcast and my advice, take what you need and leave the rest on the floor. This is not always going to be, all of the advice is not going to apply to you. All of it's not going to be for you. But I don't think that it hurts to share some of what I have experienced over time. So, as always, I appreciate you for listening. I still am working on something really fantastic for you, so I'm putting it out there. Just know that it's coming. I appreciate the raves and reviews that you've given me on iTunes. That always helps. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you soon. You can find me on AskFM / Myleik Teele. I love for you to ask me questions there because the questions, they stay there no matter what, versus Instagram or Twitter. But you can always tweet me or shoot me an Instagram. And if you have anything that you'd like to correct me in this podcast, just hit me up. Bye, guys. Have a good weekend.